Hey everybody, I'm really excited to take a break from what we're currently talking about and explore one of the most important parts of Sukkot, worthiness, self-love, and everything that we're discussing this evening with an amazing guest, Alyssa Goldwater. And as you know, tonight we have been discussing worthiness. We've been discussing the blessing of being in the sukkah. We've discussed how everybody is equal in the eyes of the sukkah, no matter how big you rabbi you are or a regular person, everybody keeps the mitzvah in the same way. All you need to do is be inside the sukkah. So I'm really happy to have Alyssa Goldwater here. She is the CEO, wife, mom, and digital influencer behind a lifestyle brand, A Glass of Goldwater, which you for sure know from Instagram. Merging motherhood with humor, A Glass of Goldwater has become a community and support network of over 55,000 women across the world. By having hard conversations about difficult topics such as mental health, body confidence, and the unspoken struggles of motherhood, Alyssa not only keeps people laughing with her sarcastic take on life, but also helps women feel a part of something bigger, that they aren't alone in this crazy world. And that's exactly what we want to accomplish with this webinar tonight. And so there was nobody I could think of that I would rather have than Alyssa. And when I asked you, you graciously agreed to be on this webinar, I said to you, we're looking to celebrate worthiness, that we're sealed in the book of life, that we're enjoying our closeness to Hashem. And I asked you to give us one idea for how we can cultivate worthiness with being intentional with our mental health over the holidays when there's so much stress going on. So I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. It's an honor to be asked. And, you know, I talk a lot about mental health. And the first thing that came to my mind when you said mental health and the holidays is something that you may not initially think. You know, a lot of people, it's all about doing on the holidays. You know, it's like, do this, do that, buy this, buy that. And I'm going to step out on a limb and I'm going to say almost the opposite of that, really. Do less. And not only do less, but don't care about doing less and let it go. I personally only use disposables. Sure, I get pretty ones, but they also don't have to cost $1 million. I get them on Amazon. You know, I'm going to say something that's going to blow your mind. We serve on foil. I know. And it's just easier for us. You know, they make things that you can put a foil pan in so it looks a little bit nicer at the table, but save yourself a little bit of energy, and know that nobody in your family or your guests are going to come to your sukkah and think, wow, she served us on disposables, or that food was terrible because it was in a foil pan. They're really going to remember the time that they spent with you. And when you are less stressed because of the work that you've offloaded either onto someone else or that you've taken off of your own plate, that's what they're going to remember. And you're going to be happier. You're not going to be sitting there the whole meal thinking about the mess you're going to have to clean up after. I know that's a really big thing of mine, personally. And I think it will just help your mental health. And I will say that if we could just get everyone on board with this, we wouldn't feel like we're keeping up with the Joneses. If everybody could have this mentality of really savoring the time and the holiday spent with people and how we're going to interact with them and enjoy ourselves versus all of the things we need to do to make it bigger and better, If everyone could just get on the same page about that, we wouldn't even need to be having this conversation, but we are having this conversation. And that is my biggest tip that I give to myself every year. And you have to like talk yourself down a little bit.
Oh yeah.
But if you're able to have that conversation with yourself, and if you're happy about it, then you're just going to enjoy yourself so much more.
I couldn't agree more. I was discussing with some clients this week, we were planning for the holidays, and they'd even been talking about Rosh Hashanah, and then we were talking about Sukkot, and we were going through menu planning. And I'm like, okay, so, it's gonna be a really festive meal. Maybe there's gonna be 2 different proteins. And they're like, but I always make 3 or 4 proteins. I'm like, 3 or 4 proteins per meal. So like you're gonna have like fish, 2 different kinds of chicken and meat. And I'm like, if you just even want to include cutting and prepping some vegetables to be making healthy choices, like you want to have, like, you've just like quadrupled the amount of work you're going to be doing here. Like, is there any way if you can visualize your table with 2 proteins, 2 beautiful, abundant servings of different kinds of proteins and some gray carbs, and you had a multitude of different colored vegetables and salads, like, do you think they would feel that sense of abundance? Like you wouldn't have to then make 2 more whole dishes that take hours to cook, that are a huge amount of expense, that are more food than you would meal prep for your entire family for a week, that we're going to serve at each meal. And after a minute, once she started visualizing like what the table would actually look like with all that food on it, it's like,
there's no room.
Yeah. and I love what you said, that look, we always use paper in the sukkah, and we get nice ones. And I know exactly what you mean about those aluminum pans. And I do have to talk myself down sometimes, because I'm like, should I get even the fancy chad pami platters, like the plastic platters? And I'm like, why? Like, that's like another $30 you're going to spend on platters that are going to go right into the trash, when you can get this reusable thing that you're going to put the aluminum pans in for every meal throughout the holiday. Like, it's not that we mind spending the money, but like, isn't there something else? Like, couldn't I spend an extra hour of cleaning help? Like something else I can take off my plate than this?
Yeah.
And I love how you're coming at it from this mental health perspective, especially somebody who, if people go to your Instagram, we know you like nice things. We know you take pride in your home. We know you take pride in your sukkah and in your garden. So to hear everybody really be on the same page and say, yeah, we take pride in these things, but we're really intentional in what we're doing. So you're not, you're making beautiful chad pani, but what are you investing your time in? So you have little children. What is something that you're like, well, I'm not putting my time here, but I really am going to put my time here instead?
That's a great question. So definitely, I mean, I do like sukkah decorations. So that's sort of my one thing that I put my energy into, instead of, trying to do everything bigger and better. I sort of focus on one thing. And Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was my sukkah. It's been 4 years now of gradually adding on to the sukkah. And last year I painted the inside of it, and got some vinyl posters that are really beautiful. This year I got some more vinyl posters to sort of add to the vibe. I always, buy a couple of things for my table. I sort of do a theme, but that is where I put my energy. And also, including the kids in that process. So they're really excited about decorating the sukkah together. They make their own sukkah decorations. I've reserved a whole wall in my sukkah specifically for kid projects. So it's like very nice, 3 walls, and then 1 wall I've let it go again, and made it so that the kids really like it. So I would say, for me, it's decorating the sukkah, but pick one thing that you feel passionate about for the holiday and go with it. I also put energy into Chol Hamoed trips. the kids, it's just me and the kids. My husband can't take off work for Chol Hamoed, so I try and do something fun at least one day, not every day, but I try and do something really out of the box and fun one day. And we make memories, they remember it, and I'm not like freaking out because I have to plan something for, 3 days. So
I love that.
Yeah.
So let's clarify some of I think there's so many good points in what you said. So first of all, take some of the pressure off, and things that are a lot of cumulative work. Like using dishes isn't just the work of having the dishes. You have to have the dishes. They're schlepping them to and from the sukkah. There's worrying about the breakage with guests and kids. There's the then clearing and washing and putting away. So you're talking about a lot
Which
of
is the worst part.
work.
That's the worst part.
And so by switching out for chad pa'ami or for plasticware and disposables, you're saying, okay, this thing that actually is 12 steps of work that I don't acknowledge, I'm acknowledging it's 12 steps of work. And now I'm going to put my creative energy into decorating my sukkah because that brings me joy. And it's something that is actually less work every year, because every year I'm adding one element, I'm investing myself, and I'm getting benefits year after year after year, versus something it's like the laundry pile.
Right.
Who wants to keep folding that same endless pile of laundry? There's not that sense of progress and accomplishment and building there. And then with the ages of your kids, focusing on, I'm sure taking them out, you have little kids, taking them out is an exhausting, I know I have 5 kids, thing, and something that you really want to be able to have energy for. So knowing you're only going to do it one day takes the pressure off. You can go all in because you're going to have days that are chill, days that you're just enjoying still the intentional effort you put in decorating the sukkah. So I want to clarify for everybody just the wisdom in everything that you shared, that it's about looking for cumulative things that are cumulative work that you're not noticing and removing those, and instead replacing them with things that are this cumulative level of pleasure.
Yes.
Amazing.
100%.
Any last things you want to add? Is there any, I know you mentioned some great finds on Amazon. You are like the Amazon ninja. Do you have any special Sukkot links that if we go to your Instagram, we can find to help find some beautiful things for our sukkah?
So I have a highlight on my Instagram page called Chagim, and I've linked everything on Amazon, and also I have codes with some of the Jewish retailers as well. So if you head to that link in my highlight, you'll be able to swipe up to everything that I use for the holidays and that I hope you would enjoy as well.
And you can support some amazing Jewish small businesses and get also
some really talented artists with the sukkah canvases.
Yes.
These artists have gone above and beyond this year, and they have some really, really special pieces. And I have codes for you.
Amazing. So people can get discounts and also support Jewish art and also support these amazing entrepreneurs. And I know many of them are women. So it's an amazing synchronicity.
They're all women.
They're all women. All women that we're investing in each other. Because every single person is worthy. You're worthy to be your authentic self and to invest in Sukkot in a way that reflects you and what matters to you. Thank you so much for being here, Alyssa. Thank you so much for your wisdom. And I can't wait for everyone to head over. All the links are right here on the side, and come and create a sukkah or their own unique memory that's really special.
Thank you so much.
Chag Sameach.
You too.